Hi, well, you find a tree in a woodland and you cut it down and you make a chair or a stool or something else. You'll see in this film all the nice things.
And in first place we've got...
Well, yes, here we are at the Bodgers Ball, and it's the annual meeting of the Association of Pole Lathe Turners and Green Woodworkers. So, chance to see some lovely things that people have been making, and obviously for people to meet up with old friends, etc. Now, the Association of Pole Lathe Turners and Green Woodworkers has now got about 1,100 members, so it's a growing membership in the UK. And they meet up in local groups up and down the country, and they make things out of greenwood, so that's wood straight from the tree. You find a tree and you cut it down and you start splitting it, cleaving it, and turning parts of it on a foot-operated pole lathe. And that's what you got here. You got a nice collection of stools that people have been making, and all those legs have been turned on a foot-operated traditional pole lathe. So the kind of lathe they would have used back in medieval times even. And what you'll find generally with this is that you'll get some lovely woods. They're not the sort of typical lumberyard type woods. You'll get nice exotic and nicely marked bits of wood, because trees, if they're not prime ones, very often have interesting fungi and other sorts of rot, and then you get lovely coloured bits of timber. And of course you get non-commercial grades of timber as well, which makes it more interesting. And in the competitions, so these are the annual competitions, a nice little butterfly joint in there. These little competitions, people enter what they've been making during the year and hope to win a prize. Cash prizes, so first, second, third placing, and people sort of have the sort of fun of entering, the prestige of winning, and the membership actually votes. So when you come along, you get a little card and you get a chance to tick first, second and third against all the different entries that you like. I rather like that one. A bit of a hound made out of various components, including old saddle trees as well as bits of wood. But I thought it was quite a fun little sort of concoction. And that's the thing, really. People use their imagination, they use their skill, as with this lovely chair, and they come out with rather nice, unique pieces of work. And it's interesting seeing, what people are making, what sort of trending as being quite fashionable. You tend to get little themes each year. Some very nice seats being done this year, woven seats. And you'll get people making things that you just wouldn't ever see in a shop. So a nice little bit of hazel here, and they've left a bark on. So much more interesting perhaps than some which don't. Anyway, I enjoy it. I go along. There's obviously, as well as these furniture competitions, there's field and craft and spoons and bowls, and I've popped some of those up in another film, and it's very well attended. Going straight in here, we have first a chair class. Now, the first chair, someone I think was having a bit of a laugh at putting in a resin chair, reclaimed wood and some plastic, and made in Norfolk. You have to say if you use a power tool, so they've put it on rockers basically. A bit of a piss take, but sense of humour, isn't it? And that's really what makes the world go round. And then perhaps some more credible entries. A nice bit of carving at the top of this one of the running horse. So someone's enjoyed doing that, and then they've incorporated it into a chair back. Rather nice feature. And the designs you get are quite unique. You won't see these, in other places. A very nice piece of work there with you, and using the natural grain and shape of the timber there. So what you've got in the arms is replicated in the arm supports and replicated in the back as well. And I thought that was a particularly nice, fine bit of work on there. Good imagination, a nice bow that's been bent and it's going through the arm as well. So yeah, very nice chair that. Not so many entries on the first chair, but it's a competition people can enter for when they make the first chair ever. And if you consider the people who've entered these haven't made anything before, extremely good and nicely done.
Second prize is... And the first prize goes to...
now have the side chairs, and these are chairs which don't have any arms. And there's a fair range of entries in these, which is very nice to see. A very nice style of ladder back chair there, and nicely little pinned detail on the top to keep it all secure, but very nicely made. And great design on this one, nice shape, a bit different. Quite a few, and that's a nice elm seat being used there. Nice seeing the elm getting very difficult to get hold of in the UK because of the elm disease, but people do still manage to find it. It's a bit more prevalent up north in Scotland, but more difficult to find down south. But being a hedgerow tree, also with fields being enlarged, perhaps not so common, but it's a lovely wood to work. I like elm. I use a fair bit of it actually. Again, very nice work, very nice seat. Ash in the main frame here, and nice bit of bending, and then a nice bit of weaving on that seat. These seats were actually very popular this year, so I'd say that was a definite theme. And one more here, you see, very similar, but very nice. Nicely shaped for your spine. People sit and test the chairs, so it's not just a matter of visual appearance. When you decide which chair you vote for, you sit in it and you check if it is comfortable.
In second place, we've got and in first place.
And lastly, we have the armchairs. So obviously chairs with arms. And people who make these tend to be pretty experienced chair makers, and you do get a lovely range of high quality chairs, some traditional, some fanciful, and it's very nice to look at what's there. I like the Celtic design work in the back of that one. Very similar one did win about, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago now. Nice little top bow there as well with a burring. Lovely selection of woods being used. Very nice, very accomplished work there. So that's lovely. Quite inspiring. You see these and you suddenly feel, oh, want to go and sharpen my tools and start making something. I have found for myself actually, since I've been doing an awful lot of creating with leatherwork, I'm probably doing less creating with woodwork. I do the woodwork, as you may know, as a hobby come interest, and I do enjoy it when you get into a project. There's something very satisfying about getting these details. Look at that nice little score line around that bow. But getting little details right, it's very satisfying. I find the same thing with leatherwork. It's nice. You get good at something and you look for perfection. Nice pommel on that one, very sharply focused. Those turnings look splendidly done. Bear in mind, all being done on a foot-operated lathe, so nothing fancy here kit-wise. This was a clever entry. They were using, again, nice little pinning, they were using the natural form of the timber, which perhaps was another theme we were seeing quite a bit of this year, where people are saying, oh, there's a knot in that timber. Now, any timber yard would just reject it outright. Knotty timber, not going to use it kind of thing. But there you are, it's being used in the detail of the back there to advantage, and it looks jolly nice. They've even done it in the stretchers as well, and it's good to see. Nicely made. A more simple design here, but again very pleasing on the eye. A nice splay of the spindles, a nice height, and very, very skillfully done. This is quite a challenge. You've got to taper those spindles and keep them bulbous and similar bulbosity at the bottom. Easier said than done. A lot of these, you look at them and think, well, that's quite plain and simple, but you try and get things to match and look symmetrical, and that's quite a challenge. Again, nice quality turning on that. Good seat shaping, a nice grain on that one, and nice little arms, all cross-pegged and done well there, and nice pieces and nice choices of wood to bring out the beauty. So yeah, a very nice selection. And finally one here using an interesting backsplat. You get ideas, and it's a joy to watch, and it's very good of people to put their entries in, because it gives great entertainment for everyone, and it's nice to have these things. So that's the Bodgers Ball annual event each year, and there will be different entries each year as well. So I hope you enjoy seeing that one. We were very lucky this year. We were hosted down at the Weald and Downland living museum, and they have, you know, splendid facilities down there. Very nice museum site to visit as well. And of course, it's great. We get about 500 of our 1100 or so membership turning up for the annual event, so it's a very good turnout when you consider this was being held down in the south of England, and we got membership going right up to the top. There you are. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next film. Bye bye.